1, 2, 3, 4.
Chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now. Bang bling bling, chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now. Chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now. Bang bling bling, chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now.
What up, y'all? This is the Babylon 5 podcast. I am your boy, your faithful host, Jermaine of that. You know, last week I honestly didn't want to necessarily start the episode last week off with Rumble, because I felt like, I don't know, I felt like if I mentioned it at the end, it would feel like an afterthought. But I didn't want to start off on such a low note with the rest in peace to Rumble Johnson. But unfortunately, my childhood has taken a huge loss today. Right as I left work, I was informed, my wife let me know that Jason David Frank had died. And I look into it, and it says TMZ reports of apparent suicide. TMZ seems to know everything before anybody. They get the scoop on every single thing before anybody. Said of apparent suicide, not even apparent. It just said, well, maybe it said apparent. I think it just said of suicide. If you don't know, Jason David Frank played Tommy Oliver in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Not only Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in space, Power Rangers Zeo, my nigga. He had a few seasons. He was like one of the longest tenured fucking Rangers. You know? He was a mixed martial artist. What podcast would this be if we didn't say our farewells to the Green fucking Ranger? We didn't give a few ass for the Green fucking Ranger. We all, well, if you're as old as me, we all grew up watching this man fight them motherfucking putties. Alright? We all saw this nigga play that goddamn dagger like a fucking flute. It sounded like a fucking synthesizer. All while the nigga still had his helmet on. We all saw it and we fell in love with it. And then he hit you with a few ass. Alright? It really saddened me. I had a couple sips of wine since, but I was really sad. I followed JDF, Jason David Frank, when I was on Facebook. But I don't know. I couldn't. It seemed like to me that, as my wife was saying, is the issue with most, I guess, child actors, but I wouldn't necessarily call him a child actor. He was like a grown man. He's like in his 20s, I believe, when he was Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. So, but she says as the issue is with, younger child stars is that, they can't really escape that image of who they were in some TV show or movie. And it seemed like to me, as I said to her prior to what she said, was I was letting her know that, I couldn't seem that, it seemed like he wasn't able to break away from the Power Ranger thing. And it wasn't like It wasn't, I don't know, it seemed like he embraced it, but, like, I felt like in a way that, like, this is clearly, like, what the people want, you know what I'm saying? This is going to be most beneficial for him, like, probably financially. But I don't feel like he wanted to just keep being the fucking Green Ranger. Nigga was 49 years old. He didn't want to still be the fucking Green Ranger for 30 goddamn years. That's just my thoughts. Maybe he loves being the fucking Green Ranger. Maybe it was the highlight of his fucking life. And if there was a suicide, maybe it's for other reasons. But rest in peace to Jason David Frank. Yeah, see, I didn't want to... I'm not going to do it at the end to try to make it seem like an afterthought. This episode is called R.I.P. JDF, episode 170. Rest in peace, Jason David Frank. Moving forward, we're going to talk about what was billed as UFC Fight Night Derek Lewis versus Sergey Spivak, which turned into UFC Fight Night Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Ian Cutelaba. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about another fighter that I saw on this card that looks like a fucking problem for the welterweight division. We're going to talk about this fighter here. I feel like I've been sleeping. I was like half paying attention, but like now I'm like, whoa, I'm woke, nigga. I'm fucking woke. We're going to talk about this guy. And also we might even touch on a call out here. If I feel like touching on it, if I feel like getting there. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys want to follow this podcast on Instagram and Twitter, it's at Babylon5Pod. You guys can email this podcast at Babylon5Podcast@gmail.com. If you guys would like to hit that like button anywhere that you're listening to this, I'd appreciate it so much. And I appreciate you so much. If you guys would like to follow your boy on Twitch, if you believe that I will ever fucking get the balls to stream again, go to twitch.tv/Babylon5. Follow your boy. If you guys would like to purchase some merchandise, head on to teespring.com/stores/BOFpod-shop. And lastly, don't just be my niche, be my patrons. Head on over to patreon.com/Babylon5Pod. You can be my patron if you want. I don't know. I was like looking at I was listening to niggas talk about niggas just Xing out the Patreon route and just trying to get like, I think it makes more sense to like do subscriptions via YouTube. I think that makes more sense than a Patreon, because then I could do like lives via YouTube, have exclusive membership. I feel like it makes more sense to build a membership over on YouTube. Since I have been putting out videos, this one isn't going to have a video, unfortunately, because I'm not sure actually. So my external hard drive where I save all my video, because the video, it's a huge file, it just suddenly, it just started to act up recently. And it's like, I tried to buy a new USB hub all my engineers know, my audio engineers know, you can never have enough USB fucking ports, but I just fucking, it just doesn't show anymore. It does on my MacBook, but it does not show for my Mac Mini, and my MacBook is a punk ass bitch. Alright? That MacBook just get loud as fuck, my nigga. MacBook get loud as fuck, my nigga. I tried to, in my mind, I was like, I'm gonna do a Baltimore accent there, and it did not come out at all. Maybe it did, I don't know. Yo, you know what I was curious about? I was watching, I think some shit with The Wire. I was like, how come none of the white people have the Baltimore accent? You know what I'm saying? I haven't heard any white people with that Baltimore. It's only black people. Show me a Spanish family that has like a Spanish accent but talks with that fucking Baltimore vernacular. You know what I'm saying? Speak that dialect. Why is it only the black people that talk like that? Like they got twice as much lead in their water than Flint, Michigan. What's going on? I was thinking about that randomly, like, I want to hear a white dude with that fucking Baltimore-ass accent. And then I seen a TikTok the other day that was about the first time you get a verse from a Baltimore rapper, and it was just like, dude, what the fuck are they saying? What is he saying right there? What is he saying? And I was like, that's crazy. Well, it's not crazy because, you know, they're listening. They hear everything that I'm saying, and bam, there you go. This is exactly what you were talking about. Now talk about it on your podcast. That's how this works, ladies and gentlemen. That's how this works. That's how this works. So, UFC Fight Night, Lewis Spivak. That fight ended up not going down. Derek Lewis had to pull out of the fight. During the prelims, it was announced that the fight was canceled because of a medical issue. And then it was revealed that it was a stomach issue for Derek Lewis. And that's why he had to pull out of the fight. And about an hour after the fights were over, they announced that he was medically cleared. Like, it was a brief stomach issue. I mean, it is what it is. If he couldn't fight, he couldn't fight. But we didn't get to see that fight. I feel like we know how that fight was going to go with one-way traffic, nation of domination, Sergey Spivak in that ass. First round submission. I believe that's what we were heading for. But we didn't get to see it. So the new main event was Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Jan Cutelaba. All right? I didn't talk about this fight last week. I didn't know it was going to be the new main event. And I'd just be like, nigga, it's busy season at work. So I don't be having time to just be in here chilling with niggas. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give y'all what I can give you right now. I'm gonna give you the best that I can give you, but it's only gonna be for like however amount of time you gonna get, because I got shit to do. Alright, my nigga. So, I didn't talk about this fight last week, but in my head, when I was looking, I told you niggas that like it's a good card. It's a good card next week, so I said like check it out yourself. And it was a good card. Kennedy Nzechukwu is known for his comeback victories. All right, he had his comeback victory against Carl Uberg, the nigga with that fights with who trains with Israel Adesanya. You know what I'm saying? Who The nigga, they was like, oh, this nigga looks like a model already. He's about to come into the UFC and take over America. Then the nigga got knocked out. So what up with all that talk, my nigga? I was just like, that's a nice little way to damper those fucking plans, my nigga. I had to be a hating ass nigga for a second when they were like, they was just all over this nigga's dick before he had his first UFC fight, let alone first UFC win. They were all over this nigga's dick. And he got knocked out by Kennedy Nzechukwu. And the way Nzechukwu, who's fucking gigantic in there, the way he looked in his last fight with his grappling, the improvements that I saw, I figured he'd have enough to beat Cutelaba. And he was in there and he was able to get the second round finish of Cutelaba. He was dominated with the wrestling for most of the first round from Cutelaba. They mentioned that Cutelaba had 12 years of Greco-style wrestling, I believe. Greco-Roman style wrestling, and Kennedy Nzechukwu did not, but he was able to survive. And in the second round, he was able to put Cutelaba away. Shout out to Nzechukwu. I hope he takes his time, learn as much. He's looking great, you know. If he can figure out how to get going faster. He seems like a gentle giant in there. You know, when he talks in his interviews, his post-fight interviews, and just the whole story of his mom, which is heartbreaking. You know what I'm saying? If you know the story, if you don't know the story, Kennedy Nzechukwu, his mother has ALS, and when his mother found out she had ALS, his father decided to leave because he didn't want to have to deal with it. And now Kennedy is he's the primary caregiver for his mother. She lives with him. And, when you hear that story, for me personally, I root for that man every fight. I root for that man to win every fight when you know this man's story. If you've seen what ALS can do to a person, I root for that man every time he goes out there. So I'm definitely a big fan of Kennedy's Nzechukwu. Jesus Christ. There's like it's Nzec, like, you know what I'm saying, nigga? It's weird. It's spelled unfamiliar to my Milwaukee ass. It's gotta be shit like Waupun and Oconomowoc, Wanaki. It's gotta be shit like that for me to understand. You understand? This doesn't even make sense to me. I'm just fucking around. Shout out to him. As I'm saying, big fan, always gonna root for my man. So shout out to Kennedy on the win, but I think the most impressive fighter that I saw on the night that I feel like I was sleeping on, and 'twas blind, ladies and gentlemen, but now I see, Della Maddalena, nigga. God damn, nigga. I was watching this clip. Shout out to, actually, I want to see the actual account, because there's a few accounts. So it's at Fire MMA Vids. All right. That's the account. It's MMA Fire 2.0. And I fucks with this account, and he posts, whoever runs this account posted the rise, or Jack Della Maddalena updated, and it's just like, fuck, dude. He fought Danny Roberts on yesterday's card, and he just overwhelms him with this beautiful technique and so much power. When he hits people, there's this thud, this fucking noise, this fucking deafening, like, this thud, nigga. It's like, I watch fights every week, you know what I'm saying, and I don't hear fucking shots like that. Usually, when you hear that, like, that noise, that's like somebody gets a real good body kick, like one real good body kick in a fight usually. But he's throwing just punches to your face, your body, and everyone sounds like he's hitting you with a fucking baseball bat. It sounds like he's hitting you with a fucking baseball bat, and his technique's just beautiful. His grappling looks good. He's in here, he fought this guy, Lusa. And honestly, they're screaming, oh my goodness, as he's just unloading these strikes on him. He's hitting him with elbow, hook, straight. He's just, at one point he slaps him. I couldn't believe this Lusa guy. I believe it went to a fucking decision. I'm like, how did this nigga take all this goddamn damage? Nigga, I'm fucking ready to tap out. He's beating the shit out of this nigga. I'm sitting here like, yo, ref, get in. Who's this other guy? Rodriguez. Oh, he's so, that smack, that thud in there. Jack Della Maddalena is a fucking problem at welterweight. All right? Potential future champion. And I say potential because I don't know who the fuck's gonna be there. I don't know when this nigga walks into the throne room. I don't know who's gonna be sitting on the Iron Throne. I don't know who's there for him to challenge. Is it potentially 37-year-old Kamaru Usman? I'm just thinking about, like, I'm giving it like a year before Jack Della, like, even has a shot to a fight. Some people, you only need like 2 UFC fights and then boom, you get a title shot. I don't think they're gonna let Jack Della get that opportunity here. Clearly, he's been here already. He would have fought for the belt already if everybody got that treatment. I guess you gotta be a special kind of nigga for that, but Kamaru Usman is 35, so if I give it a year, all right, so you're gonna be fighting a 36-year-old Kamaru Usman who's already talking about potential retirement, like prior to the Leon Edwards knockout. He was talking about moving up, taking the belt at 205. You know what I'm saying? Winning the light heavyweight belt and then retiring. That's what he was talking about. So we're talking about a Kamaru Usman who's already bounced around the idea that he has 1 foot out of the door. I don't know if he's going to be there. I don't know if Leon Edwards is going to be there, which I'd love to see Leon Edwards versus Jack Della Maddalena, but I don't know if Khamzat Chimaev is going to be there, my nigga. And I'm not saying that Jack can't go in there and make a good show for himself. He probably could. The grappling looks great. The defense, he looks like he's good everywhere. And his boxing is powerful. Fucking powerful, like thud. Super sharp. That boy's a beast. I just don't know who's gonna be there when he gets to get there. You know what I'm saying? Is it Khamzat Chimaev? Or is it Kamaru? Or is it Kamaru's not the champ now? Is it Leon Edwards? Is it Colby Covington? Is it Jorge Masvidal? I doubt it. I fucking doubt it. But this guy's a problem for anybody. I say potential future champion, man. It all depends on who's sitting on the Iron Throne when it's time for Della Maddalena. Wow. Crazy. It's time for him to challenge for that championship. Who's sitting on the throne? But he's a problem for just about everybody at 170. I see him running through a lot of motherfuckers before he really finds some resistance. All right? That's just my uneducated opinion. Michael Chandler recently did an interview with Brett Okamoto, and in this interview, he calls out Jorge Masvidal for the BMF belt. All right? He wants The Rock to walk out there with the belt. As if you guys don't know, The Rock was the one who came out, presented the belt for the first BMF title fight between Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal. And then he put the belt on Jorge, who was awarded a win via bullshit doctor stoppage. All right? And Michael Chandler would like to fight Jorge Masvidal for that belt. Beat Jorge Masvidal for that belt. And then have The Rock put that strap around his waist. I would love to see it, ladies and gentlemen. I'd love to see that fight. I think, honestly, that fight's 50-50. Like, Jorge has the height and reach advantage. But if anybody's going to close that distance and nullify that advantage, it's definitely Michael Chandler. But Michael Chandler definitely had some issues with Tony Ferguson in that first round. The reach, the height, the boxing was definitely a problem from him to get inside early on in that fight. So this is the only fight that honestly introduced that of Masvidal that interests me at all. Like, I don't care for any other fight. Masvidal seems pretty afraid to fight Gilbert Burns, who's been calling him out for like practically a year now. And now Masvidal is posting these nonsense videos trying to claim, like, first off, I was never offered the fight. And Gilbert Burns claimed that he was offered the fight about 3 times, and each time he was told Masvidal needed more time. And Masvidal starts the video off saying, like, first off, I'm going through I got court dates that affect when I can pick when to fight. Because he allegedly, even though he allegedly attacked Colby Covington outside of a bar after the Nelk boys tweeted or posted the location of where they were. Jorge showed up and attacked him. Felony assault. And then he allegedly showed up and attacked him, but then he legitimately posted to Instagram, his Instagram story, wearing the same clothes as the assailant, saying, I told you, never talk about my family. Like, now it's the show your face challenge and all this shit. Issued the show your face challenge to the victim, Colby Covington. So I'll say allegedly because he's pleading not guilty. But you're fucking snitched on yourself immediately. You immediately posted that to Instagram. Like, nigga, how stupid can you be? So he's claiming that is the reason why he can't. That's the reason why he doesn't know when he can fight again. But then he follows that up with saying he was never offered those fights. But if you were never offered those fights, why did you even need to mention that there's reasons why you can't just pick these days? That shit sounds shady. Sounds like you don't want to fight Gilbert. So if you don't want to fight Gilbert, fight his teammate. Fight Michael Chandler. I mean, go ahead and fight Chandler. And if you can beat Chandler, then fight Burns. If you think you're so fucking tough, but I don't know. I honestly think that fight's 50-50. I like that fight for Masvidal. That's the only fight I really care about for Masvidal. I think he's done. And he assaulted a fighter. Like, ran up and and snuck a fucking fighter that literally just beat him beat him fair and square. Dominated him in the octagon. And because he got dominated when they fought fair and square for 5 rounds, he snuck this nigga at the bar that he knew he was at. Lame ass shit. Not interested in any fights with this nigga except for him to defend, finally, the BMF title. Defend that belt against Michael Chandler. That nigga hasn't won a fight since he won the BMF belt, but won't. He's like, no, we're not defending that belt. Like, whoa. Like, yeah, because you would have lost. It'd been gone. You would have lost you lost to Usman twice. Usman's the baddest motherfucker at that point, and now Leon, I guess. Now Leon's BMF. That's how it happens. And if you want to know how to follow this podcast on Instagram and Twitter, it's at Babylon5Pod. You guys can email this podcast at Babylon5podcast@gmail.com. And if you guys would like to hit that like button anywhere that you're listening to this podcast, if you made it thus far, I appreciate you. I'd appreciate it, and I appreciate you so much. If you guys would like to follow this podcast on Twitch, if you believe me that I will stream one day, hit the twitch.tv/Babylon5. If you guys would like to purchase some merchandise, head on over to teespring.com/store/BOF-pod-shop. And lastly, don't just be my niche. Be my patrons. Head on over to patreon.com/Babylon5Pod for the moment. I mean, I did do that little spiel about YouTube subscriptions, but being members on YouTube, that was the whole point of it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. As I said, this is episode 170. R.I.P. JDF. Rest in peace to the Green Ranger, man. Jesus Christ, my childhood hurts me right in the childhood, man. God damn. Every Saturday morning, my nigga. I was going to say one Saturday morning, but every Saturday morning, my nigga. And now I dedicate my Saturday nights to martial arts as well, so it all came full circle, man. Rest in peace. Man. It's crazy. I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves and each other. And I'll see you when I see you. I'll holla.
Chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now. Bang bling chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now. Chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now. Bang bling chant down Babylon. we chant down Vatican now.